As Salaamu Alaykum Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Sawadee. This is Kruyod Hamzah Maisonet. One of my students was asking me a question today, and I figured I'd just answer it through this video. The question is, in Thailand, the difference between them getting ready for a fight, meaning ready as when you come into the stadium and you're about to fight, besides getting your hand wraps on and you're getting warmed up with your linen on your body and all. That's basically what you're doing. The rest of the time you're sitting next to the opponent in a chair ready to go into the arena to fight them. It's not like the Western world, or most of these people do. They take a lot of time in shadow boxing, hitting the pads for a long time, getting their body warmed up, then going out to fight. Why am I saying this? Because if you notice, a lot of Westerners wind up making the technique look so clean. Hitting the, what I would say, not even Westerners, I would say it in the sense of the word of the Phang Nak Moi, which is the non-Thai, round face, fat nose Thai fighter, which is he's not Thai, in other words, that's the description. He basically works more on how the technique looks, how clean it looks, and how good it looks doing the pads. But then when they go out there, they can't even perform half of it. I'm old school. When I train my guys, I don't really care how cute they look hitting the pads, how cute they look hitting the bag. I want to know if the hypothesis, which is the educated guess, the tried, true, and tested, is true. It has been tested, and it has been tried plenty of times. That gives the end result, which makes it a scientific method, which makes it Maisonetsmuaythai, that they can apply it when they're in there. If they know exactly where they have to move to, where their legs should be at, how to get into a certain position, how to set up a certain technique, and how to fight and still be aggressive, which the illusion is the aggression, which makes the person think they're just aggressive guys. And they get so caught up in looking at the aggression, but not looking at their feet where they're at the time that they come in and attack you. That's what I want to know if you can apply. Because too many trainers are so into cleaning up the technique so much of the guy, of the student, that they teach them the technique of Muay Thai. The technique of Thai boxing cannot be patterned. Muay Thai, how to execute a technique, it's one way of executing it. There are many different ways of executing the same techniques, but they all stem from Thai boxing, which is the free land. So that is the clean technique of how to do a technique. But the educated guess of how to apply that technique and the scientific method of which has been tried, true, and tested with many students you taught it to, went out there and applied it, and you found out the right ingredient, your special sauce that makes your sauce different. That's why in Thailand they have many different camps, because they have a brain, so they think for themselves. So they have their own way of how they apply this specific technique, which is their thought process, which makes them different. That is what a lot of trainers forget to teach. They teach you the technique and they teach you somebody else's mindset, but they don't have the experience of putting guys to fight. I've been putting guys to fight for 35 years. I don't focus so much on how the pads should look when you're hitting the pads. Not unless I'm doing realistic pad work. That's a different subject. Most of those trainers that I'm talking to right now understand it. So why am I bringing this up? Because the answer of the question really is this. The Thais hit the bag the way they hit the bag. They shadow box the way they shadow box. When they fight, they do so many different techniques. Why does it work? Because they know the educated guess behind everything they're doing. They know the GPS of how to get to their destination. So the technique may be the same technique that all of us learn, but the way they put it together is totally different. And the reason why they do it this way is because you can't really see it in pad work. You can't see it in the bag work. But since they're so actively fighting, they're able to apply more than anyone else. It's like myself, how many fights I had in my professional career, in my amateur career. When I hit the bag, I just hit the bag. I train, but when I do things, I know where to put my feet at. As for my son, my Ibn, Brandon, the Purple Scorpion Maisonet. He has already a total of 113 fights. He knows exactly where to be at. Even after 2.5 years of being out and during the month of Ramadan, he looked exactly where he was supposed to be with all that ring dust in him, all that ring rust in him. What I mean by all this is that most people look cute. My father used to say something in boxing because I came from a family of boxers. I did 103 in boxing, the Pan American Gloves, Junior Olympics, the Empire's Game, the Mayor's Cup, the Golden Gloves. I never won them, but I made it to the semifinals 3 times. Frustrating that I never got to win it, especially during the late 80s, going to the early 90s. But I did a lot of boxing. What my father used to say is that you look cute hitting the pads, but can you go in there and hit the guy? Most of these guys can hit the pads cool and cute, can hit the bag cute, but as soon as they go in there, they can spar. Even they can spar looking good. Sparring, they look freaking fantastic. I mean, they can spar and do all the techniques right, but when they got the limelight on them, they got the drunk people on them, they got the people cursing at them all day while they're fighting their boy, their mans in them, or their girls in them. And then they got the pressure of their family coming to see them in the pay-per-view live coverage and the cameras on them and the pictures and the photographies and the flashing lights. They get cold feet. They cannot perform. They're gym hustlers. They know how to hustle in the gym. They're good fighters in the gym. But as soon as they go up there and when it's showtime, they choke up. If you can go out there and get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and you can pull it off and look clean, that's when you look right. That's when it's important. All that pad work looking cute, and these guys, like my father used to say when I was coming up, oh, that guy looked like a monster on the pads, right? Everybody's doing the same pad work. Everybody's doing the same routine. Everybody's doing the same thing. Then when they go out there, they can't do half of it. And it's true. You got this whole floating thing that they're doing now. 2, 3, back knee, elbow, knee, push away, 2, 3, low kick, elbow, knee. There's this new thing now that they're flowing around with that looks cute in the pad work. Pop, pop, beam, pop, 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 beam, bomb. And it looks cute. Can't do it in there. I haven't seen you do it yet. There's many people that can't do it. Now, I'm not saying there ain't nobody that can. So don't get it twisted. What I'm trying to say by this answer, I'm trying to tell my student, my private, that in Thailand, there ain't no such thing as you having to hit the pads before you go fight. The Thais already know what they're doing. They warm up, they get their hands wrapped, they sit on the side, they get ready to get their work in. So most times, you can't be blind by the illusion of how people look. I have a saying in Maisonetsmuaythai, I don't care how many belts you got. I want to know, can you fight? That's all I want to know. Because everybody out there, they look cute, but as soon as you go in there, they can't do half of it. Or they can't handle the pain that comes to them. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this little thing I just said. I have no problems. I just was trying to tell my student this, and I felt there's something that other people should know about. Because not every Thai that you see, you don't see them warming up or doing pad work and all that. It's very rare if you see it. It's rare. They just wrap up, get warmed up, sit to the side, and get ready to go in. With that being said, I hope you like to hear this. Hope you enjoy it. Sawadee. As Salaamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon you and your family. Amen.